This is your Spanish news. 3 people have been injured and building damage after a new magnitude 4.8 earthquake struck the province of Granada on Tuesday morning, followed by a series of strong aftershocks that prompted evacuations, road closures and restrictions at the Alhambra. The latest earthquake struck at 10:37 a.m. with its epicenter northwest of Gojar, just south of Granada city, at a depth of 5 kilometers. That's according to Spain's National Geographic Institute. The Andalusian regional government confirmed that 3 people suffered minor injuries during the earthquakes. Regional Vice President Antonio Sanz says that all 3 had light injuries, with one of those a teenage girl taken to hospital. Precautionary measures were introduced across Granada, including at the Alhambra. Visitors were evacuated from the Nasrid Palace and the Alcazaba, and public access to those part of the complex was suspended while specialists assessed whether the earthquakes had caused any damage. Although the earthquakes were centered around the southern outskirts of Granada, the tremors were felt across a much wider part of Andalusia. Reports came from elsewhere in Granada province, as well as Almeria, Córdoba, Jaén, and Málaga, including several communities along the eastern Costa del Sol, such as Rincón de la Victoria, Torre de Mar, Torox and Nerja. Spain is to open 4 temporary accommodation facilities in Ceuta with space for 1,500 migrants as authorities attempt to ease pressure following the huge influx across the border from Morocco at the end of July. The announcement came as hundreds of migrants staged a protest at one of Ceuta's beaches on Sunday, calling on the Spanish authorities to allow them to seek asylum rather than return them to Morocco. An estimated 5,000 to 8,000 migrants are still in Ceuta following the mass crossings in July. Most subsequently returned voluntarily to Morocco, but thousands remain. Ceuta, which has a population of around 80,000, has struggled to accommodate those who stayed. Its existing temporary immigrant stay centre has capacity for just over 500 people, leaving many migrants sleeping outdoors, including on beaches and the outskirts of the city. The situation has also placed additional pressure on Ceuta's public services. Enrique Rolveralta, head of Ceuta's medical board, told Onda Cero Radio that healthcare workers were exhausted and criticised what he regarded as the central government's slow response to the crisis. He says cases of infectious diarrhea and scabies had been appearing, while medical staff were also treating increasing numbers of injuries linked to violence, including broken noses and stab wounds. Spanish Health Minister Mónica García, who visited Ceuta on Sunday, rejected claims the territory's healthcare system had collapsed, although she acknowledged that services were under considerable pressure. To associate migration with illness is unjust and xenophobic, she told reporters. The central government has faced criticism from Ceuta's regional authorities over the handling of the influx. Ceuta's regional president, Juan José Vivas, accused Madrid of whitewashing the situation and threatened legal action. And finally, French newspaper L'Humanité has dedicated its latest issue to Spanish poet Federico García Lorca, marking the 90th anniversary of his assassination. Titled Federico García Lorca, the echo of an anti-fascist song, the communist newspaper pays tribute to the author of Blood Wedding and The House of Bernarda Alba. Lorca was assassinated in August 1936 by nationalist militia forces at the start of the Spanish Civil War. He was targeted because of his leftist political sympathies, his fame as a cultural icon of the Republic, and his homosexuality, which made him a despised figure to the reactionary right-wing authorities in Granada. And that's your Spanish news.